another episode of Muddy River Breakdown with Shuck and D.O.B. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Shuckman, hanging out with Dangerous Don O'Brien today as we get set for episode 3.
We don't have our DX theme music yet.
We don't. We got to wait for the Bald Costanza to take care of us on that front.
I need my DX music. Break it down.
We'll get you some DX music. We'll get you the breakdown. But so far, 2 episodes down and we haven't been canceled.
We haven't?
Not yet.
People are still listening.
So far, which is a good thing. How are you today? Okay, so are you in mourning as we sit here and tape this show?
Yeah, we're it's a Tuesday. It's Tuesday afternoon, and yeah, last night was good, but it was a rough one.
The final episode of Better Call Saul, one of your favorite shows, is now
It's gone.
It's gone. 15 years? Is that correct? 15 years of Breaking Bad and then
14,
Better Call Saul?
14 seasons.
Wow.
Yep, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's good show though.
I know you were very much into it. I was never into Better Call Saul. I know you told me I need to binge watch it and all those things. Did the finale live up to the series?
It did. It was very good. They tied together a lot of loose ends, and it was, I think everybody who's a member of that universe came away satisfied.
Okay, well, that's good.
So now I want to watch next, so I think I'll wait till Yellowstone comes out.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
Although I did find a Leave It to Beaver marathon on the Peacock streaming network last night.
Leave It to Beaver.
Tony Dow just died recently.
He did. That's right. Did you have a favorite character from Leave It to Beaver?
Well, Eddie Haskell, of course.
Of course, figured you.
Eddie Haskell's the guy.
Come on, didn't everybody love the Beav?
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting though. There were no. It was very vanilla in the Cleaver universe.
It was.
There was
other than Eddie Haskell being a little mischievous.
He was mischievous, but other than that, everybody was vanilla.
Well, that's 1960s television for you.
They had no diversity on that show at all.
None whatsoever.
So it's interesting.
So Better Call Saul tied it all up nicely.
Yes.
Wrapped up some loose ends. Let you go away with a good feeling. Right?
Yes.
Okay. We've got high school coaches doing the same thing this week as we talk and heading into next week is tying up loose ends, making sure their teams are ready. College coaches are doing the same because next week in full bore, we have a ton of competition. We've had a little bit so far with the golfers.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis kicks off later this week as we sit here and take this on Tuesday. And then next week, soccer, football, softball.
It all gets going.
It all gets going.
That's fun. It's a great time of year.
It is. So as a reminder, Tuesday, August 23rd, the Muddy River Sports Football Preview special section will drop.
That's like okay. So we're gonna drop on Thursday, so a week from today.
Yeah, as we tape this.
5 days from the day that we
so I've got a lot
this.
of work to do in the next week.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? You sitting here yapping with me? Shouldn't you be typing?
Well, it's always fun to yap with you. So no, it'll all be done. We've been working on it. Advertisers have been great. So we'll have a 36-page magazine ready to drop next Tuesday for all your high school football needs. We'll have schedules in there. We'll have tidbits on the teams. We'll have some pictures. We're gonna touch on all 15 area schools that we cover. So again, August 23rd.
And specifically high school football.
Straight high school football.
No college, nothing else, no.
If you've been on our website, you've already seen some soccer previews. Yep. Dropped a volleyball preview on Monday. We'll have some more volleyball previews coming up. We'll have some tennis previews dropping this week as well. We got to hit some softball up still. We're going to hit some area volleyball. And then next week we'll also launch our Prairie State profiles and show me spotlights.
So let me ask you this. Back in the day, we would be getting ready for it was a prep football tab forever, the fall sports tab.
Right.
Is it easier doing it this way, or would you have rather done it the way that we used to do it back in the day?
I don't think there's much difference, to be honest.
It's the same type of workload.
It's the same type of workload. It's because we're still putting it together, we're still designing pages, we're still doing that. It's the printing process that we're negating now. Since it's just going to be a PDF online that you can click on and open and read.
So we don't have, there are no more, we got rid of the fall sports preview at the Herald League many moons ago. Yes. Chris Stewart does not do his football preview booklet anymore.
He does not.
So this would be the only spot. You can print this out and you can,
Yes.
you can make your own booklet if you want.
Download it on your computer or your phone or your tablet, and you can read it as the season goes on and see how much of a fool I am if I say that Don O'Brien's going to have a great year for such and such team.
And Don O'Brien doesn't do anything.
No, he does not. But,
Don O'Brien won't do anything either.
but you know what I mean.
So we gonna do any predictions in here, or are we just
No,
we're straight cash on me? That's all we are.
15 previews, and then I'm going to have a column and a couple of little things in there to get people set for the season. We'll have the schedules.
Because you know what, receipts.
No.
Okay.
This is a preview section.
All right.
So we're trying to get everybody up to speed as we get set for the season openers, which will be a week from Friday.
Season over. When do our college football teams start? Do they have to wait another week?
And it's I think Culver's the same weekend. I think they're on Saturday the 27th, and then QU's the following week.
Okay, so that's what I came here to talk about a little bit about today. Because
Okay.
next week I know we'll be heavy on the high school stuff because it'll be the opening
True.
week.
Yes.
So I like to talk to you because you've been in it for the last many years and I've been out of it.
Yeah.
And so you're the guy that should know.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we'll see.
So I did a little research.
All right. Oh Lord.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Will Quincy University ever be good at football?
What is your definition of good?
That's great. That's a good answer, or that's a good question. So, from 2000 through 2011, when William Turlissner was the head coach,
Correct.
they won 36.4% of their games.
Correct.
I can't remember what, I think it was 47 and 82, something like that.
Yeah. Something.
Since he left, the Hawks have played 100 games.
Okay.
How many of those 100 do you think they won?
Oh, wow.
He wanted a 36.4% clip. How many out of 100?
I'm gonna guess because you brought that up that it's under 36.
Ooh, you know me too well.
33?
35.
35, okay.
They're 35 and 65.
Okay.
And when that move was made, it was we want to win more. We need to change the culture. They've done a lot of great things. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
so with the place now, the place back then in 2011 was, I think at that point they were playing their games at Quincy High School by that
They
point.
were at Flint Stadium at that point because
Because Key was so bad.
QU Stadium.
I mean, it was a junkyard.
It was the grandstand was crumbling. Literally,
Yes.
you can see the rebar.
Yes, it was terrible. So kudos to Quincy University for what they've done with that whole
Great
complex
facility.
out there.
Great facility, great turf. You know,
You can recruit to that.
you can.
I'm
you
sure
can
Gary
actually-
Bass takes his recruits to that stadium.
No question,
The previous one, back in 2010, you couldn't take your recruits to that stadium.
and they did not.
No.
So yes, so that is a selling point.
So, do you have? Okay, so you've got a new athletic director, you've got a new president,
Yep.
you've got.
Who have invested in it, and I want to take it a step further. You talk about the facility.
Yes.
You've got, and that was in 2015 that they revamped
Okay.
that side of QU Stadium. Put in a new press box, new grandstand, new turf field, the whole bit. Did a really nice job. This past summer, they've now upgraded the parking lot. And if you drive over 18th Street past
Yep.
QU Stadium, you'll see what's going on there because they're in the finishing stages of it.
Of that to the north of where the baseball
North of the
entrance is.
stadium,
Yes.
Yes. There's a really nice concrete parking lot now. It's not gravel anymore. There's not potholes. There's not puddles. So when the tailgaters or just general fans want to find a place to park and walk into the stadium, they don't have to worry about stepping in puddles or along the way. It's going to be another addition, another step in the right direction in the grand plan.
So I guess my definition of successful would be, okay, you look at their league they're in now, the Great Lakes Valley Conference Division II. You've got a lot of the, I guess, you got Power Bro. You got Indy and what, Truman?
Indy and Truman. You got
Yes.
You got two teams right now
And one that may be taken off.
that will every year has been part of the title conversation. Then it's the Also-Rans. And every now and then one of those, Missouri S&T, Southwest Baptist, have had a good run. McKendree, Quincy has yet to have its good run. But a couple of those other schools have had where they've been in the mix. William Jewell has not been in the mix. Much like QU. QU has not been in the mix.
QU this century has never won more than 6 football games in a season.
That is correct.
What is it going to take for them to go 7-4 or get to that 7-win mark?
I think they're on the right track as far as bringing in the right kind of talent. And it's noticeable. It's noticeable when you go out there. They are more physical. They're more talented, more aggressive. And I think once you get to that level and get some experience under those guys' belt, then it becomes schematic and coaching and all that. Right now it's building depth and building talent. Fact of the matter is it's taken a while. And now they got a guy that's getting looked at by NFL scouts. They've had NFL scouts in almost every day recently from different teams just to see it. And when we're talking about B.J. Wilson, the starting left tackle.
Senior? Okay. Draft eligible, obviously?
Draft eligible, 6'7", 300 pounds.
Yes, he's a large human.
He is. And a very, very intelligent, very well spoken. So, I mean, he fits a lot of the checking points as an NFL team goes down the list. Then it becomes, can he play?
Compare him to the young man who was at Culver the last couple of years that just was in
Very
Titans
similar.
camp.
And, Andrew Rupcich.
Thank you. I couldn't say his last name. I knew you could, though.
And who is now with the Tennessee Titans. He's in their camp. Who was talked about favorably after practice yesterday by the Titans offensive line coach. So he's doing some nice things for the Titans in training camp so far. But they're very similar. Size-wise, intelligence, well-spoken, all those things. It comes down to the ability to play. And in that regard, I think they're pretty similar. So I could see B.J. Wilson getting an opportunity. I don't think he's going to be a draft guy. But he could be a free agent signee, that kind of stuff. By the way,
So he's a building block on the offensive line. So is QU more of an – I know they had some shootouts last year. Are they more of an offensive team or more of a defensive team?
They're more of an offensive team. You got to remember their defense was arguably the worst in Division II in the nation last year.
Ouch.
I think they were like, well, if they're 64 Division, I don't know. They were number 63 or something. I forget the exact number, but they were right there. I mean, in terms of points allowed per game, yards allowed per game.
So my memory of the 2021 QU season was I was going around driving and they were beating some team like 37-14 at half. I thought about going. I was like, they're killing this team. And they lost a game like 40-something
Because
to.
they couldn't stop anybody
Yes.
last year. They couldn't stop you last year.
That's bad.
That's bad.
That's bad.
I like the improvements they've made. They've changed up their defensive coaching staff. They have a new defensive coordinator this year, some new position coaches. They return linebacker Peyton Chappell. They've added Peyton Plunkett, a Palmyra product who was at Northwest Missouri State prior to this. And he looks like a beast and plays like a beast. So, I think he's going to change the dynamic there. They actually have some depth along the defensive line now, which they have not had in years. I can't remember the last time they made it through a season without having to move a linebacker or somebody to defensive line just to fill a gap. So I think this year that's not going to happen. And then, and you've got some guys with some local ties. Jackson Connell looked really good in the scrimmage on Saturday. He's going to be in the mix at linebacker. Lake Bergman, another Quincy Notre Dame product, is going to be in the mix at linebacker. You're going to see improvement. Does improvement equal 7 wins?
I don't know what their schedule looks like. Can they get there?
Their schedule is watered down because they had to replace Lindenwood because Lindenwood left.
Yes.
To go to the OVC and become a Division I program. And so they added Kentucky West.
OVC, very, very competitive conference, by the way. Probably the SEC of Division I AA.
Sure. No, yeah, sure. We'll let you believe that.
Not the SEC.
Mr. EIU. But no, the non-conference schedule is set up for success. Then it becomes.
So they got to get it done. There's no reason for them not to.
There's no reason.
What were they last year? Like 4 wins?
They can't win. If they can't win 6 this year, they're in trouble because the schedule is set up for especially for the improvements they've made on their defensive side and the athletes they have back on the offensive side. So and I'm going to spend some time with them. Again, as this week rolls on, I'm going to spend some time with them and do some stories on them. But it's a situation where they need to get it done.
Well, and this administration has shown that they're not long for losing. They've replaced men's basketball coach. They replaced a women's basketball coach. I know there's some other. I'm not familiar what the women's soccer pro situation was, but
replaced that one.
Okay. So I mean, the modus operandi out of 18th and college is they want wins.
They do.
They want competitive programs.
And I think if you talk to President Dr. Brian McGee, he will tell you that he hates losing more than he likes winning. He does. He is all about having success academically and athletically.
It's just, there's is there anything holding them back? You talk about Truman and Indy being the two big dogs in that league. It's not like the GOVC. It is not the SEC of Division II football. No. It's more like the SWAC of Division II football. It's down there. It's not that well regarded.
Correct.
Is there anything that can't keep them from getting the bronze on the on the podium?
Not that I sit there and look at, other than when you're recruiting against a McKendree or a Indy, they're in bigger markets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, granted, McKendree's in Lebanon, but they're close enough to St. Louis that they're part of the St. Louis market. Kirksville and Missouri S&T both have high academic standards, higher than probably anybody else in the GOVC. Mm-hmm. So that's an issue that QU doesn't quite have to worry about. QU is a high academic school, but not to that level. Mm-hmm. So I think once they get it turned around, it's going to get much easier to continue to build. But you got to win. Kids want to play for winners.
Okay, speaking of winners, I'm going to change gears on you a little bit.
Okay.
Back in my day, Culver was nothing. Culver, Stockton, they had one good year. They had Chris Tabor, who won 6 games in one season. He went on to become a special teams coach with all kinds of teams. Who's he with now? Do you know?
With the Bears.
He's still with the Bears. He survived again. Wow.
As far as I know.
But anyway, he's been an NFL guy. He was there for 1 year. They won 6 games, and he could have been mayor of Canton. How did Culver get good? Because they won 8 games last year, right? They're nationally ranked in the preseason.
They're number 22 in the NAIA preseason poll. Picked second in their division in the Hart North, behind Grandview, which is number 2 in the national poll. How did they get good?
Yeah.
They brought in the right coach with the right connections who convinced kids to come here despite it being Canton, Missouri.
I mean, that's got to be a tough. I mean, it's tough enough to recruit to Quincy.
Got lucky. I mean, let's be honest. They've got a guy in an NFL training camp. Mm-hmm. They had NFL scouts at every practice practically last year. That was unheard of at Culver. Okay? They got lucky. They got lucky that Andrew Rupsich progressed the way he did. He picked Culver out of high school, and then blossomed. No one could have said, coming in as a true freshman, that he was going to be an NFL tackle.
But they have, he's an offensive lineman. They had to have dudes around him, though.
But they have. They've done a great job. It all comes back to recruiting. They've done a great job of identifying and then bringing kids in and making it a place they want to come to. And again, success breeds success. They started winning. So instead of selling hey, you can come here and turn things around, then they were able to start selling, hey, come here and look what you can do. You can go to help us get to the playoffs. You can play for a division title, play for a conference title. Well, once the narrative changed, now you're starting to see them stockpile talent, not just rely on one class to kind of change the course of everything. And again, they lost a lot of talent. The seniors who graduated last year or left at the end of last year, because remember they had extra time.
Sure, the COVID years. Yeah, there's still
stuff.
COVID years left over and stuff. Yeah.
So the guys that were here that walked away, the Pat Richardsons, Pat Robinsons, excuse me, not Richard, Pat Robinsons, Dalton Huffmans, Andrew Rupsich's. They created this. Now you look at it and go, well, they're ready to reload. They're not rebuilding it anymore.
So many times these polls are based on what you did the year before.
They all are.
And so are they one of the top 25 teams in NAIA football, do you think?
So. I honestly think so, because you look at the pieces they have coming back. They return their starting quarterback. If he's healthy at the end of last year, they probably get in the playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah. So I mean, they were nearly 8-3 last year, and they probably could have been 9-2 if he's.
So what do you got to do to get in the NAIA playoffs these days?
Well, you got to win. You got to win your conference,
Okay.
or there's a scenario where you can get an at-large bid, and they didn't get an at-large bid last year. So it was close. It was really close, and I don't know all the reasons why. The
Sure.
list of things that you get in.
But the 8-3, 9-2 would obviously look a lot better.
9-2 would have got them in.
So you think is this a 9-2 team? Is this a team that can push for a playoff spot this year?
I don't see why not. Jason Orndorff is a really talented quarterback. He's a guy.
No relation to Paul.
No relation to Paul. Sorry.
Do they call him Mr. Wonderful at least?
I don't think so.
All right.
They return a bulk of their defense. Daniel Hernandez is an all-conference safety who's really good. Could play at a lot of other schools. I think the fact that they return a bulk of last year, even though they lost quite a bit, especially on the offensive line, they bring back guys who had experience, who were playing against those guys. I don't see why Culver can't be in the top 25 all year and be in the mix for a playoff spot.
So one of my favorite things to cover back in the day was when they had the Great River Bowl.
Yep.
When they had QU against Culver, they played for the bucket.
The old Oaken bucket.
The old Oaken bucket. They'd have like Mississippi water from when it flooded or whatever, and jars and who knows? Who knows if it's real or not? But they would play, and now both teams neither team has a ton of conference games, right? I mean, would there ever be a chance for them to get the Great River Bowl back together?
That's a great question because I don't know exactly how Culver's schedule works because the Heart has split into two divisions.
Yes.
And so you play everybody in your own division, and that determines the division champion.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you play everybody in the opposite division. And I think that leaves one non-conference.
Oh,
game.
okay. So there might not be.
I'd have to double check their
there might not be scheduling, but America's not clamoring for the Great River Bowl to come back together.
No, and it'd be fun. It'd be great.
Would you like to see that game?
I would.
Wouldn't that be something if they played it like the Thursday before Labor Day, or even a Thursday before the start of the high school? It's probably too early to play before the high school season starts.
Figure out a way to let that be the season opener.
A celebration of area of college football.
Especially now that you've got Quincy High versus Notre Dame kicking off the season. You could do that on Friday night and the old Oaken Bucket game on Saturday and just have a celebration of area football weekend. Why not?
Let's make it happen. Maybe instead of the old Oaken, they'd play, what was the game called? The Great River Bowl?
The Great River Bowl.
Wouldn't the Muddy River Bowl sound even better?
It sounds pretty good to me. Might have to make that happen.
So there you go. So you hyped up for college football season out here too, or
I'm
not?
excited about it. I enjoy college football. I enjoy it, and it's going to be unique this year because Quincy University's got some some Thursday night games to augment the Saturday schedule. We've got some high school games on Saturdays this year, so it's going to kind of balance out. And then we're going to have sprint football.
Yeah, what about sprint football? So I think there's some intrigue with sprint football. I know that some people think it's going to be like watching midget wrestling, but that's not the case.
Not at all. And the funny part is, and I'm sitting out at QU's football scrimmage on Saturday, and somebody made the comment of, I can't wait to see what it's like. It's football. It's the same 100-yard field. It's same 11 on 11. The difference is, at the college level, instead of 300-pound or 275-pound linemen, you're going to have 185-pound linemen or 190-pound linemen. That's the difference.
You can be. What's your max weight?
I think 196.
Oh, really? You can be as high as 196. I thought it was in the 180s. But anyway, now they have to get they're going to be the weigh-ins and everything, right? Like you're in wrestling?
I don't think you're going to have weigh-ins every week to make sure they're under the limit. I think when they come in for school, they have to weigh in.
But then what if you get the guy who's getting us his freshman 25? I need to know these answers, Shock.
Just let them play. It's still football.
Are you so what's your level of intrigue on the sprint football?
The interesting part about sprint football is
it's obviously enrollment booster for QU.
It is, but it's an opportunity. How many high school kids have we watched over the years who are really good high school football players who simply weren't big enough to go play at a QU or a WAU or even a Culver. They physically didn't have the size to go play against guys who were in their 220, 230, 240 pounds. Now these kids have an opportunity. If they want to continue to play football, here's an opportunity. And you're going to see a lot of local names from a lot of area schools on the roster. And the roster is going to go beyond that, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it's an opportunity.
Do we have? They're going to start 6 foot and under basketball too at the collegiate level, or not?
I don't think so. But
the Prodigy could use that, by the way.
he's at least 6 foot, isn't he?
They got him listed at 5'11".
Okay, I thought he was.
That's what I'm saying.
But well, he can go play in the 6 foot and under league then if he's listed at 5'11".
So.
But anyway, I think sprint football. I think it's going to draw a good crowd because there's going to be so many area kids involved. And then you're going to get people who want to come out and see those kids play.
There's a curiosity factor, at least early on.
Early on, there will.
But don't they play their first couple games on the road?
Yeah, and I forget what date the home opener is. But
they're playing like Thursdays too, right? Or
they haven't started practice yet.
They haven't started practice yet?
No, they don't start until kids get on campus.
Okay.
The schedule starts a little later for sprint football.
Okay, and they're playing like 6 games.
Yeah, because they're going to play against like Fontbonne.
Fontbonne. Does Fontbonne even really have real football?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it does either.
But the hope is, for me, it would be eventually they would get good enough to potentially play against some of the teams on the East Coast. Wouldn't it be fun to watch QU go up against the Army or Navy sprint football team?
I think I'm taking Army or Navy, so nothing against U of Q.
Right now, yes. But I think down the road, I don't know if that will ever happen, but I think it'd be fun to see that happen.
That would be interesting.
Because I think when they introduced sprint football, a lot of people were like, what are you talking about? Luckily, I had some knowledge of it because Tom Russell, who was an all-state baseball player and a football player from South Shelby, had gone to Army.
And he played sprint football.
I'm
going to be honest with you. I'd never heard of sprint football until QU announced it. And I bet I'm in the majority.
But you should have, because I wrote a story about it when we were both working at the Herald Boys.
Like, I'm going to read all your stuff. I got time for that. Nobody got time for that.
But yeah, that's how I became familiar with it, was because Tom Russell from South Shelby had gone there and played sprint football.
We're gonna have football coming out our ears here before we know it.
We are. Obviously, I know you love basketball.
Yes.
But
I need my schedule, boss. I'm going to be going out to a game every Friday night for you. I need my schedule.
I'll take care of you. Don't worry. But do you get into college football on Saturdays? Do you watch Illinois? Do you watch?
Unfortunately, I watch. Okay, so here's what I'm looking forward to in the college football season. Okay. I've got Illinois over 4.5 wins for football.
All right.
And I always watch Illinois anyway because that's who I grew up watching, and they stink every year. So I'll still continue to watch Illinois and watch them probably lose more than they win, but I just wanted to make 4.5 wins for gambling reasons.
Okay.
It's legal now.
It is.
Secondly, I do watch Iowa. I don't like Iowa. I dislike Iowa fans more than anything else. But they got the kid from Highland, Illinois, Sam Laporta, who I watched play in high school, who is going to be probably playing on Sundays. So I'll root for him, except when they're playing Illinois. Mizzou. Now, your Mizzou Tigers.
Mizzou.
They had a chance to put Tyler Macon at quarterback.
You're upset about that.
I'm really upset about this Brady Cook thing.
But you know what? That means Tyler Macon didn't perform in the preseason.
That means Eli Drinkwitz doesn't know what he's doing. That's what that means. And I know you love him. Goff loves him. All you Mizzou fans are blinded by this Drinkwitz guy. But he's nothing but a mid-card performer.
He's got to get it done.
He hasn't done anything yet.
No, not yet. But if he can get it done, then yes.
If he can get it done.
If he can get it done.
Well,
I will tell you this. I will probably end up watching. I'll watch as much Mizzou as I can this fall. Just Mizzou rah. But I'll probably end up watching more Iowa State than I do.
Of course, yes, and they were my next one I was going to mention.
Jarrell Brock.
Yes.
Pegged right now to be the starting running back for the Cyclones. Did you know he has his own line of merchandise?
I saw that. I saw a tweet about that the other day.
Might have been a purchase already.
You may have gotten a little Jarrell
gear. There may be a T-shirt coming for my wife to wear of the Gyro Brock collection.
There you go. So, yeah, what an easy kid to root for, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
No question.
great kid. Hopefully he has a bang-up year. Is their line coming back? Because that Bryce Hall certainly benefited from a great offensive line.
Brees Hall, please.
I'm sorry, him too.
And Brock Purdy was their quarterback, and,
Yes.
and he's gone now. Yeah, I think they got a majority of their linebackers for what I understand. It's their skill positions outside of Xavier Hutchinson that they have to replace. Hunter Deckers will be their.
Big 12, is Big 12 really tough? I mean, come on.
It's got Kansas in it.
I mean, that's a dub every year.
That's a dub. That's an easy dub.
What do you think he's going to do against Kansas? Over under 2.5 cut touchdowns.
474 yards and 6 touchdowns, just like he did in high school.
That's Gyrell.
That's Gyrell alone.
You got him for 475, 474, and 6 TDs. No, for real though. Over and under 2.5 touchdowns for him.
Chicken Hawks. I'll take the over on that one.
He's gonna get in the end zone 3 times against them. That's
Against
probably
the Chicken Hawks,
probably a good bet. Although the Chicken Hawks won me some money last year, so I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, but it'll be fun. It's going to be fun to see his progression, to see how he has matured. I mean, he's matured so much as a football player before getting the starting job. I'm anxious to see what he does with that job now that it's his.
Do you care about the top 5 or anything? Do you get into that at all? I don't really care anymore. It's the same teams every year.
It's the same teams every year. It doesn't really matter till the college football playoff. The fun part for me is watching some of them. Watching the teams that, get upset,
I just want all of them to get beat.
and then you watch their fans squirm.
Yes.
So that's kind of fun. But it's also going to be interesting to see which coaches show up in Hannibal this year.
Yeah.
Which teams try to put the full court press on Aeneas Williams to get him to come to their school. So who's going to show up in Hannibal to watch Aeneas on Friday night?
Coach Saban going to take the helicopter and drop it down to Hannibal YMCA on top of the hill and in the parking lot.
But and that'll be interesting because we've seen, because of social media and stuff, we've seen like Eli Drinkwitz at high school games on Friday night, and those sorts of things. Will there be any big name coaches show up in Hannibal this year, or will it be just assistants?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be interesting to see how his trajectory goes. What kind of year he has. I mean, he's got all the biggies that are in on him anyway. Is there anybody else lingering out there that hasn't thrown in? I don't think George has offered him yet.
Come on.
I think that would be the one that I can think of off the top of my head that has not. I mean, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Oregon.
A lot of the
State,
big boys.
you
You offered him yet?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't Gary just do that just for the PR part
Why
of it?
not, right?
Why wouldn't you?
WIU did.
They were one of the first ones.
They were one of the first ones. Oregon was the very first one.
Yes. Okay, so it's time to put Chuck on the spot. This is probably the last time we'll talk about college football before it kicks off.
Okay.
Mizzou, bowl game or no bowl game?
Bowl game.
How good of a bowl? I mean, are we talking
Low level, low tier bowl. Like 6 wins, maybe 7.
like you're 6 and 6, 7 and 5?
Yes. Yeah, I don't see them being.
The Blue Bonnet Bowl, is that still around?
I don't think so.
Something like that.
The Pool and Weed Eater Bowl.
The Pool and Weed Eater. So they're low level. They're like playing on December 23rd.
I think they and Illinois are going to be kind of that team.
You think Illinois makes the bowl game?
I don't know if Illinois would.
I don't
if
think so
Illinois
either.
gets one, it would be that kind of bowl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't see them getting any higher.
What about Iowa State? How good are they going to be as a whole?
I think they're going to end up being pretty darn good. Matt Campbell's done a tremendous job with that program. I'm going to go battling for the Big 12 title in the final 2 weeks of the regular season and fighting for a New Year's Day bowl game.
That'd be all right. What about more local? What are your win totals? Okay, QU over under 5.5 wins.
I'm going to take the over because of their non-conference schedule. If their non-conference schedule is loaded, I think it'd be a little tougher. I think they're going to be able to get their feet wet with some not so great competition early, which will allow them to maybe sneak up on a couple GLVC teams. So I'm going to take the over.
On 5.5.
5.5, I'm going to take the over.
Okay, Culver Stockton College over under 8.5, or they can be better than they were last year.
I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to go 9. I think they're going to end up going 9-2 or 10-1 with a real challenge. I don't know if they can beat Grandview for the division title, but I think they're going to be right there. They were right there last year. I know they've got some people to replace, but I really think they're going to be right there. I think the dog in all this year, the team that's going to struggle is going to be WIU from our region.
Yes. They're going to be the new coach.
New coach, Myers Hendrickson takes over as head coach. 3.5. That might be where I'd set the over/under.
3.5 over/under. What are you going?
I'll go under.
Going under 3 wins. That's a tough league. Now that is
3.5, so 3 wins.
so that is actually the Missouri Valley Football Conference is the SEC of Division I AA football,
Oh, no question.
or I call it Division I AA football
FCS.
bowl subdivision. I think a lot of do people still call it 1 AA or
No.
what do you think? FBS,
FC.
FCS. People call it FCS now. I'm old school. It's only Division I AA to me.
You are old, though.
I am getting there. Yes.
So, football's here. It's a great thing.
We'll talk more high school next week.
I think so, because, next week's kickoff. And you'll be with me on Friday night, a week
Yes.
Friday night, at Bill Connell Memorial Field.
All I got to say early on about that is that Coach Cornell,
Yes.
his beard is in midseason form.
Oh, no question.
I mean, if I had a hat, I'd tip it to him.
He gets it done.
Yes. So
Gets it done.
I'll see him on this week. I'll see him twice in Lex before we get together again because they're speaking at Exchange Club on Friday and then again at our Rotary on next Tuesday.
So, and then you'll be there for the lid lifter on August 26th.
That's my week 1 assignment.
That's your week 1 assignment.
I look forward to it.
You're going to be there hanging out with me.
Sounds good.
Should be a lot of fun.
Do it again next week?
Episode 4, we're not getting canceled before next week.
Oh, heck no.
This has been fun. Let's talk some more football next week.
Sounds good.
This has been the Muddy River Breakdown with Shuck and DOB. Join us again next week.